let's just dive in the deep end because I've got thoughts about this, right? First of all, at the moment, I've given myself over this show. When I heard that song again, as soon as I heard the tune again, I didn't know whether we'd be hearing it. As soon as I had it,
just everything locked back into.
I'm this show's bitch, right? I just said, if you'd said to me, oh, they're going to start playing that song again for the first episode. You told me before I started watching, I would have said, oh, gee, that's a bit, can't they do something different? But having seen the first episode where they gave it a miss and then seen the second episode, as soon as I heard it and I saw those graphics, I said, my instinct was, I'm here. You got me. Yeah. The mistress, the dark mistress has me.
I absolutely skipped the whole intro. Like I thought it was already there. I was like, just get me to the episode. Like I don't need any of this. I didn't even realize that the song had even happened until people started talking about it, and I was just like,
sacrilegious. Sacrilegious.
You will not win me over so easily, Game of Thrones. This is not
you will give in. You will give in. You will give in. Oh, hail the great. Now look, let's get to that child, that whole child marriage thing, because I've been stressing out about this because typical Game of Thrones.
Lay with anyone till she was 14, and I died so much on the inside when I heard that. I was like,
you know what I was thinking? I was thinking, okay, first of all, I'm going to be absolutely real with this. This is how, in the cold, hard light of day, and that's the only way you can watch this show, in the cold, hard light of day, for every political reason under the sun, he should be marrying that 12-year-old girl.
Yes,
I hate to say it. In the cold, hard light of day.
Yeah.
That was, now, to a point, right? But I also realized, I threw this back in my mind, that there's a problem coming down the track, right? Which is when there's so much, because she is his niece, and the Targaryen madness will set in soon with all the incest, right? But without knowing that, when you sat there, and particularly once he announced who he was going to marry, I thought to myself, look, dude, this is all you got to do. Marry the girl, go outside and buy a blow-up doll, right? and leave that girl alone for like 10 years. And if people say, where's this baby? Just say, it's coming. But, she's a bit young.
I don't think they're expected to consummate that wedding early, and I don't think that king was that type of guy who'd do it anyway, because he seems to be a pretty decent guy. So
yeah, remember, decent, as we learnt with Ned Stark, decent can be your downfall in this world.
And I don't agree with you. I actually think that they expected to see a consummation at least within a 2.5 year period. The girl was 13 years old, and the mom, she said that her mom said that she wouldn't have to do it till she was 14.
Yep.
Anyways, and and so I do think that they would have been expecting it actually fairly soon, especially before the daughter Rhaenyra would have to be set up to actually start taking over as the queen. Also, last week I said, I couldn't remember the other show that had brought everybody that I said these time-based shows were. It was Downtown Abbey. That was the show I was thinking.
Yeah, radio. Yeah. So I just
Yep.
So gosh, Downtown Abbey.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, that's
that's
the thing with these shows. We talk about last week. We were talking about why these shows, in some way, is so refined, and so they speak well. Just listen to the way they talk, and yet, marrying it is harsh and unforgiving in so many ways. And I think he said it the first week of this episode. He says to his daughter, that throne is the most dangerous place in the world. Everyone wants to get there, but it's the most dangerous. It is unforgiving. And that's why, people are wondering, Matt Damon, keep calling him Matt Damon. Is he really the stuff that, is he actually right in what he is saying? He says that classic line. I thought it was a classic line at the end there, where he's talking to the Valerian guy, and he says, he goes, "That's a failure of one of my brother's most failed traits." He goes, "What is being king?"
Yeah.
Like, is this guy? If he's gonna, like, that was Ned Stark. Ned Stark was too honest. He was too soft. Jon Snow was too honest. What's what's the Machiavellian? That Machiavellian. I don't know if you know Machiavelli, the Italian guy who wrote The Prince, who said it's better to be feared than to be loved.
Yeah.
Like, it's better to be an asshole and rule well than to, that's what this show is all about. And the fact it's just dived into that in 2 episodes. And also, we've also noticed there's 6 months between episode 1 and episode 2. So they're just kind of just going, that's very different from the first show, because now they're just jumping to the highlights. And soon there's going to be a big time jump, I believe.
Right.
So they're just getting to the, all right, now he's king.
Let's get to where we need to go to, but still set up these character developments. But that's the thing. Like, it is the and obviously now we have at least another player into the game, the crab guy. Which I'm not gonna front. I again did not really pick up on what was going on at the beginning. I'm just like, why? Okay, there's a lot of crabs, and then people, because these things are so obscure within the Game of Thrones universe. So I'm just like, okay, random guy, and okay, animal. Like, I just assumed this is just part of it, and maybe I just missed something in between there. But no, you have this element that feels like he's another Bolton almost. Like he's
he's that wild card, isn't he? He's a wild card. He's out there, and he's like the he reminds me a little bit of the wildlings, or the and all those guys who just don't play according to the rules. He looks like a savage character. Not sure how he's going to handle the first attack on dragons, but
I'm literally wanting to see if they're going to make giant crabs a thing here. I want to see if giant crabs are a thing, because at that point, if they start doing that, Game of Thrones is now turning into the Marvel universe, into DC,
it's Aquaman. It's now becoming Aquaman, because they had a giant. Exactly. Because I think the dragons have to stay as the apex
of the food chain.
And we know that can't change for the next 170 years.
Well,
because
they might see Krakens. Remember, Greyjoys are.
Yeah. No, it would be great. It would be so. And also, remember last week I talked about having this everyday person, the people from poor backgrounds have a voice. And that's what I thought was really important. Well, it was great to hear that girl, Matt Damon's missus, speak up and say, "Man, I've just been shifted from side to side. I've been." Now that reminded me of what's his name's girl in the
Tyrion's girl that betrayed him.
So there's there's definitely, and she's even looks like her. She's kind of cast to remind us a little bit of that.
So here, the other thing, speaking of that, this is the other part of it that I go back to. This just feels like Game of Thrones, which I mean it is, but it's also part of the reason why I haven't been able to fully enter into this. Because right now, what I feel like I'm getting, without them like trying to tell us, is like we're literally just getting the parallel of what we got later on. And I guess it could be saying that life just cycles back again.
Yeah.
But I think that also to some extent bothers me, because I'm just like, okay. I mean, again, it's only 2 episodes. I always give 4, and then we'll see where it dissects from that point. But it does get this feeling of I can play the same rhythms, but change it up. This is very J.J. Abrams in a lot of ways to me.
Right.
Where we're playing the same rhythms. We still got another war that's upcoming. We're battling for the throne again. We have our sea people. We have our land people. We have our Targaryen people. We have our dragon person. Now who's it going to be? Who's unites all the nations together? Who's going to be the weird relationship that makes us all cringe, but also guides the story around? So I feel a lot of these beats by numbers, and I'm assuming that, of course, is going to adjust over time because I can't imagine this show goes by the same way of the books, which is a lot of reasons why I think that people are willing to talk about the books so much. But like, I get a little concerned because it's like, yo, you're not going to hypnotize me. You're not going to hypnotize me with your Game of Thrones-ness under a new title. And just because it's new character. Rhaenyra literally looks like Daenerys. Rhaenyra literally looks like Daenerys. And it's like, and it's on purpose, obviously. But it just bothers me.
Yeah, but I mean, it must, they look a bit the same, but that's because that's their DNA. Like, and the blonde hair, the blue eyes, or the gray hair and the blue eyes.
DNA is not in their clothing. The clothing looks alike.
But again, what I'm seeing here is, and I'm sensing from what I've heard, some of these bloody, heavy spoilers emerging also are just dropping huge spoilers, but we're going to see the split soon. We're going to see Captain America and Iron Man side, and that's where it's going to be different. That's there. Now I'm trying to, without listening to all these spoiler bloody videos, I'm trying to figure out who's going on which side. So Hightower is definitely going on one side, right? He's a divisive character, and he definitely has that. Hightower's definitely got that little finger, Varys scheming thing, but he's also very different from those two because he
actually has a daughter to actually.
And he actually is the hand of the king, so he actually has power. That's what separated him from Littlefinger. Had a chip on his shoulder but he's a major player, right, for sure. Right. The Hightowers were not even in the Game of Thrones. That house had disappeared. The Valerians, Matt Damon. I don't know how long this king is going to hang around. So I'm just curious to see who's going to which side, and then how are they going to mix? How are they going to? Because it is a civil war.
Let's remind our friends to please click on the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we have new videos out.
Subscribe!
Die.